Yes, Mr. Mayor. I was actually, I think you read my mind. I was going to say, Councilmember Duchin, I really want to, so to your point about that necessary transparency, that in and of itself is complex as well, right? And so I just wanted to say, I am an Austinite also. And all the changes in our city, I'd like to say it ain't all good, it ain't all bad, but it is all complex and complicated. And so one of the things I was thinking as you were speaking is I can't help but think about, our streets in our town that start and stop. I mean, the poor way in which in some areas of our town we're gridded poorly. A lot of that is somebody made a decision 30 years ago that wasn't the right decision. And so when I think about the city of the future that I'd like to see, I know we at this stage are going to have to make the kind of decisions that think through congruent development for our city. You can see the start, stop, stutter, stop all over our city in way of how we executed planning and zoning. And I want to see more transparency too. I appreciate we had the opportunity to have that discussion earlier about our interactions with lobbyists. I'm happy to disclose how frequently we speak to lobbyists. The truth of the matter is I'd rather it not be my office's responsibility. We got enough to do. Y'all calling us and we're keeping track of lobbyists. I'd rather they bear that responsibility. And I think in a lot of ways from an accountability perspective, I think the council being the intermediary between developers, owners, development organizations, lobbyists, I think it's a setup, frankly. The setup always puts us in the position to decide who's negotiating the most fairly. I think neighborhoods and developers should negotiate amongst themselves, and we come in at another stage. But the truth of the matter is when we think about the process, even that makes me think, how many of my neighbors know the intricate, very much like obscure details of city planning? Very few people. So when I think about who on my neighborhood association, for example, well, I'll go bigger. Transparency should extend to everybody engaged and involved in the process. I also think it's relevant to take into consideration the level of expertise and information that people have. And that's not exclusive to community members. I have said, and I got in trouble for saying it, I think council members get to vote on some things we shouldn't vote on. I'm not a civil engineer. I don't think I should be weighing in on traffic infrastructure decisions that last 100 years. That's not my area of expertise. So I think from a transparency and who should be participating in what discussions perspective, I think that is, to pull at that thread, I think that is what it is. Who's contributing to the discussion, under what circumstances, and does it put us in a position for community members and council members to have good relationships that aren't contentious for no damn reason? More often than not, your council member has no motivation or reason to vote against your best interest. And the truth of the matter is, if they weren't the negotiator, the mediator between communities and developers, we wouldn't find ourselves on opposite sides of the thing so frequently, which makes every other discussion virtually impossible. People are stubborn. Once they decide they don't like you, they'll not work with you for the remainder of time. Cardi B said forever, and they bringing that beat forever, even to the detriment of themselves and their communities. So I'd like to see us as a body be able to work through how do we eliminate that, the things that make it so that we're automatically, for no reason, fighting against one another when so frequently the outcome we desire is the exact same. The setup is within the system, in my opinion, including, I know that there are neighbors who don't feel represented by the neighbors who showed up to speak on their behalf. So where is their advocacy and representation? I'd like to make sure that we take note. There's no way for us to make certain that neighborhood associations are operating with any degree of compliance, hosting elections, being inclusive, following their bylaws, taking notes, because we don't check. So if there's a level of accountability, capability, and aptitude that should rightfully be expected by the council, I think we should all come to some fair agreement of what we should be able to expect from the representatives of neighborhoods. Let's make certain that the people in the room are, in fact, speaking for most of their neighbors. Because when I get the call that says so-and-so said blah, 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 and that is not representing me, What are you going to do to make certain that somebody else can't speak for me just because they got the chance to go to City Hall today? And that's a real thing, too. I think the whole system deserves an investigation and an audit on our part as policymakers and as community members. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Members,